That was so transgender
I
sounding.
know.
I don't know.
Give me Margaret live in studio.
Hello.
You lost it at the end, though. Hey, it's 92.3 Free FM. I hope these people will still come into studio.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because they're in the green room, and when you're in the green room, that's where you make your final decision.
Right. Should I?
Much like the internet. It's like, I was thinking about it, but now that I've heard the guys, I don't know if I want to go in. Because they are a respectable couple.
Yes. Very professional.
Very professional. And
a man is an icon.
Yes.
You know?
A very big name in the business.
Right.
I don't want him to think that, the time that he is spending
him
with
like
us.
Margaret.
No.
Right. I'm not here to humiliate them. Right. Unless they want it.
Yeah.
Unless Ed says, you know what? Ho, 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 I get off on it.
Right.
And I don't do great impressions, but you know who's here? Ed McMahon.
I know.
Isn't that awesome?
Yes,
Amazing.
that's sweet.
He has a new book out.
Right. Called Here's Johnny.
Right. And then his wife,
Pam.
Michelle, by the way, thank you very much for all of your assistance.
Good work.
Michelle helped us line this up, and she said that his wife is very beautiful.
Oh, no
And
doubt.
she has a product that she is
Promoting.
So
Very cool.
Let's bring him in.
Let's go for that.
Let's talk with him.
Bring in Mr. Ed McMahon, his lovely wife, Pam.
Is it Pam McMahon?
Pam McMahon. Yes, I believe so.
How you doing, buddy? You feeling okay?
I'm a little bit good, but I'm going to make it.
How am I going to make it?
I will definitely make it.
You can do it.
Just me and
Just
you.
me and you.
Get him set right on the couch.
My little nerves can break them out. You can see them, and you will have no doubt. There he is,
Hello,
ladies
sir.
and gentlemen.
Welcome in, Mr. Ed McMahon.
Ed McMahon. Wow, and beautiful she is. Hi, sir. Nice to meet you.
Excellent.
And Pam, nice to meet you. Michelle didn't lie. You have a very beautiful wife.
Right.
And I'm sure you already know that, though.
Well, listen, I got eyes.
And you're a good-looking gentleman yourself. Let's go.
Why don't you go ahead and take a seat on the couch there, sir?
And then if you can give me, Ed, the old broadcast microphone check,
Sure
1, 2.
Here I am,
Oh,
ladies
perfect.
and gentlemen. We are ready.
Beautiful. Perfect. Perfect.
All right, on the
Perfect.
couch. I like that.
Welcome. Welcome.
So let's do it this way. Let's, first of all, just talk about you guys as a couple before we get right
Sure.
to the meat.
Whatever you want.
How long have you guys been married?
We've 14 years are coming up.
Wow.
February 22nd.
Congratulations.
We've been together 15 years. We didn't fool around, but we've been
Right.
together.
You weren't living in sin too long.
Yeah.
No.
No. Heck no.
You guys,
Am I on mic all right?
yeah.
Perfect.
You guys have kids?
Well, we have a lot of kids.
We have
Between us.
the Brady Bunch.
Oh, really?
Each one of you brought several to the gig.
Yeah, I brought the most. Pam had a child who's now a grown man. Not only a grown man, but he's also a Marine, a fellow Marine.
Oh, okay.
So, that's
Excellent.
important to me, being
Right.
an old Marine.
Right.
But what's really great is the fact that I brought in a whole bunch of kids, and now we got a lot of She's a pretty good-looking grandmother.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Well,
she
I
is.
mean, I'm young. I'm not actually a grandmother.
Oh, I see what you're
Each,
saying.
I don't, we don't discuss the age thing.
Right.
I thought we agreed upon that before we came up
Yeah,
here, Ed.
Ed.
Right.
I didn't say
She told
anything
you
about the
earlier.
age. I just said young. Did I say young? Did I forget to say that?
Well, our son, he has this propensity to be standing somewhere, and he knows, I like the ageless thing. I don't want to discuss age. It's like
Okay.
the thing
Gotcha.
us
Right.
girls have,
Understand.
weight and age.
Okay. So
Our
next question. How much do you weigh, Pam?
Okay. I can tell you.
And how
that.
old are you? No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
well, we won't go the
Right.
I'm ageless.
Yes,
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And, okay,
Pam,
and I can tell you about weight because I just lost almost 50 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good
Wow.
for you.
Well, you look
Is that
great.
off that product that you're promoting?
Yeah, cool.
Wow. Very
And like I
cool.
said, we are going to get to that.
Okay.
What kind of man is Ed? We were opening up the lines, or we opened up the lines, I'm sorry. Was it yesterday or the day before? Day before yesterday. We asked ladies to please read the poems and love letters that their man wrote them long ago or recently, and like one lady called. It's
Yeah.
like, you can't find a romantic man anymore. Is he romantic?
Romantic?
Yes.
Though? He is.
And you know what? He is the most wonderful man I ever met in my whole life.
Is he?
Seriously.
Is that because he's sitting next to you right now?
I'm serious. I'm really serious.
I
He
bet.
is so great. I mean, he's like, how many men do you find? Listen, if you've been, if you're over 18,
I am.
then you know you've been in relationships and you know that, excluding people in this room, of course, but you know that there's a lot of guys out there that are a little less than charming.
Yeah.
Sure.
Love monkeys.
Yeah. Love monkey. Yeah.
And not romantic and not, forget about romantic, not nice.
Yeah.
And,
Pigs is what you're saying.
yeah.
Pigs. Yeah, downright pigs.
Yeah.
How-
Dirty dogs.
How did he propose to you?
Well, he proposed to me. He proposed to me at a restaurant. Some friends of ours got remarried.
Was that Jack in the Box?
No.
Okay.
No, but some friends of ours got remarried on our boat.
Okay.
Okay, out
A
to
little
sea.
boat, not a big boat. Just
A little boat.
Yeah.
That 80-foot one. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And we had a party for them in Catalina,
Oh,
in
yeah.
California.
Sure.
On
My
our other boat,
Okay,
right?
you have to keep me focused because I ramble. My son says it all the time.
That's fine. My partner as well.
Yeah, that's what I do. So,
So anyway, so we were in this restaurant, and it was their wedding. This thing we gave them for their wedding.
Right.
And it was their wedding dinner, and Ed got up and asked me to marry him on their wedding dinner. It was really nice.
All right. Did you cry?
Yeah, I cried.
And did you cry?
I did not cry, no.
Okay.
I
Inside.
don't cry that easily.
Have you ever cried in your life?
Oh, yes, I have, yes.
Okay, right.
I may be crying at the end of this broadcast.
You were crying before it when you heard us go
Yeah,
on.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, but I tell you, it's hard for me. I don't get emotional about things like that. I cry like in movies.
Oh, you do?
I do too.
What about commercials?
Sometimes the commercials. Ones I don't get, I cry about.
Right.
Yes.
All that money being wasted because I didn't get it. Exactly.
But, it's one of those things. Whatever anybody's looking for, we fulfilled each other at this time. And we had a blind date, which is interesting because it worked. We had a blind date. Somebody set us up.
Right.
We went to the Polo Lounge, a very hot spot to
Right,
go
Beverly
to.
Hills there.
Blind date.
Uh-huh.
And for lunch.
Right.
It's good to have a blind date at lunch.
Right.
I
Because
was
if it
a
doesn't
mercy
work,
date.
you can always go back to work.
Mercy date? You a mercy date?
Not a mercy date.
Well, you didn't know.
I didn't know, yeah. Well, anyway, she walked in the door of the Polo Lounge. And
Yeah.
I sit at a certain table, and I could see the front door.
Right.
And she's very
and
tall.
it's next to a door, so if he thought
He
if
could
I was
just
a
zing
dog,
right out.
he could have ran out.
And
Well, wait
her
a minute,
right below her chair was a trap shoot.
You're right.
Two
Trap
things
door.
happened.
Trap
I
door,
said to myself, wow. I said, I hope that's with me. And I also said, I hope she's not.
It sounds like you're talking a piece of meat. Like that's with me.
I hope that leg of lamb is with
That's
me.
like really.
Yeah, but Pam,
kind of-
he's no, that's a good thing. He's being honest. Not only does he love you for the person that you are, but I mean,
you're attractive.
You're beautiful.
Right.
So he's saying,
So
I
I-
hope that's my piece of meat.
I'll repeat it in case you
And you
didn't
just
hear
said
it.
it. That's my piece of meat. I don't
But
like
it's,
that.
but it's a good thing.
I said, I hope that's with me.
Yes.
But
There
the
you
other
said
thing.
it again.
Will you be quiet for a moment? I said, I hope that's with me, and I hope that she's not taller than I am.
Oh, right.
And when you saw her come in,
Mhm,
she's
very
a tall lady,
Yes,
and I
right.
had never dated anybody taller than me.
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing in the service is blown way out of proportion. We won't get into that. Anyway,
That midget? Yeah, I got you.
anyway, what happened was both things were true. That was my blind date. And I said, "Hold it! What did I do to deserve this
Right,
in my
yeah,
whole
right.
life?"
Sure.
And then the fact
He
that
tries to get out of it. You know, I say that.
He's doing well.
Oh,
Let him alone.
the fact,
Right.
Oh, I'll repeat that again. I hope that's with me. Anyway, the fact that we got together and we've just, from that day till now, we've been together. I mean,
Wow, wonderful.
that night I was driving out. I had a place out at way north of Malibu, not the Malibu kind of place. This was
Okay.
another place, a little condominium,
In the low rent
Right on the
district.
wall.
I loved him in
Right.
a
the
low rent
The
district.
$2 million low rent district.
Yeah,
right.
the low rent district.
Got it. Yeah.
Anyway, I was on my way out, and I had, a party scheduled that night for my housekeeper. It was her birthday. So I said to myself, I'm talking to myself in the back seat. I
Like
have
low
the
rent has a
driver.
housekeeper.
Yeah, low rent district with its
And I'm
housekeeper.
talking to my
Yeah,
driver.
right, yeah.
Talking to my driver and my pilot.
in the
But
crappy
anyway,
district. Yeah.
I'm driving along, and I'm musing, and I had a great driver, drove me, a guy named Marty. So I said, why the hell didn't I invite her out
Right.
to the party? I said, I could have come to the party tonight. He said, boss, that's what phones are for.
Right.
Very smart man. So I made a phone call. She joined me at the party. We've been together ever since.
Wow.
That's
Great.
true.
We have to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about your book, Here's Johnny, by Ed McMahon. If you're just tuning in, Ed McMahon, along with his lovely wife, Pam McMahon. And Pam, what is your product? And we'll get into it, but what's the name of it again? I'm
Crave
sorry.
Busters.
Crave Busters,
See,
yes.
he says we'll get into it because he doesn't want me to start talking.
No,
Because we have to go into a
He
break
has a
here.
hard break coming up, though. He's got to go to this break.
Yeah, it's got to do a commercial.
It's JV and Elvis, along with Ed and Pam McMahon. We'll be right back on 92.3 Free.
The guy named Mike Horn, you know?
No, I
Mike
don't
Horn?
know him, no.
He's cable radio, but he does live read, and he is so good.
Who's better, him or Elvis?
Elvis.
Thank
Elvis,
you.
yeah.
You know what? My whole career, I can die right now. Ed McMahon gave me a thumbs up after that live read. He goes, nice read.
I thought it was all right.
Oh, really? I'm a little nervous. The master of it is right here in the
Listen,
studio.
if you do a live 30-second ad lib right now on Crave Busters, then you're in.
Let me get back to you on that, okay? We're going to let her do that anyway.
Yes.
That's her thing.
Ladies
Pam?
first. Pam McMahon is the lovely wife of Ed McMahon, and you have a product that's out. Did you design it, or you're the spokesperson?
No, I designed.
You were in the lab, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right? With the lab coat on and
Yeah,
everything.
working with
Well, no, I
the
didn't
mice
do
and the.
Oh, okay.
How many mice and people, orphans had to die to perfect this Crave Busters?
You're right.
Nobody had to die.
Nobody.
No orphans.
Just the appetite had to die, right?
Yeah,
See, that's where you go right into it.
that's true.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you this: can I eat whatever I want and then take this? Is it by pill, by the way?
It's a lozenge.
It's a mince kind of thing, peppermint
Yeah,
deal, right?
It is,
Mm.
and you can eat whatever you want, and when you wake up tomorrow
That's what
morning,
I
you'll lose 75 pounds.
That's what I
Now,
thought.
wait a sec. That sounds a little phony to
Yeah,
me.
the ones
No,
that
it's-
say, you know what, take this along with running 5 miles a day and
Right.
never have a Big Mac
It
again.
says, eat sensibly and work out every day.
That
then
tells
you'll
me
drop
that,
the weight.
Yeah, then I got to work for it.
Right.
Okay, I got to tell you that, I mean, what happened with me is I have my whole entire life had a weight problem. Like, I talk about compulsive, like, overeater, that's me.
Food was your friend?
I mean,
Yeah.
food was my drug of choice.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You know, except when I was in.
Yeah, younger days,
Then
right?
it was cocaine.
We don't have to go back to the...
Well, you know.
Yeah. She's great. I love her.
You know, we all had those issues. But,
Exactly.
you know, I had a major weight challenge my whole entire life. Like when I was in like 5th grade and 6th grade, I was this tall. I'm almost 6 feet. And I was like pushing almost 200.
Wow.
And my mom, I mean, she's the most wonderful woman ever in the whole world, but she dressed me like in really
I've seen
nerdy
the
clothes and like cat glasses.
Oh.
And
She was trying to make herself look better, right?
yeah,
Compared
I mean,
to you.
it was sad. It was scary.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody made fun of me. And, you know, so when you're like about 5'10",
Yeah.
like probably I was a couple inches shorter than I am now, and pushing, you know, 2 big ones,
Yeah,
like 180, something
Right,
like that.
Were you drafted by the NFL?
Yeah, I was drafted. But no, I was like so
Starting linebacker,
unathletic. So I was like the last person. I was the most unpopular.
Oh.
I was like
Oh.
the last person.
Now you're going to get me and Ed crying.
Yeah,
But
me
I'm telling you,
too.
it's the truth.
No,
Well, look
I
at you
will
now.
cry.
You're a flower. You've blossomed. I mean, come on.
Well, you know, and I was like the last person to get picked for like phys ed, you know, so everybody
Right.
else was like, I'll pick you and
Right.
you and you and you and you.
Right.
And I'm like standing there like looking up at the sky, pretending like I don't notice. I'm
Or
like,
or care. Yeah.
yeah, or
Right.
I don't care. Like I'm the last person.
Uh-huh.
And
Been there.
so I'm like, you know, you end up with these issues.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So I had it my whole life. Like Twiggy, I don't know if you guys will.
Oh, sure.
Was
The model. in the
But yeah,
60s?
was
Uh-huh.
my idol. You know, she weighed like 28 pounds.
Yeah, that's on a good
Yeah.
day. That's after eating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
right.
anyway, I had grandmother and aunts and everybody that like I'm from Michigan, you know, so like all they wanted to do was give you food.
Right.
So
Are they the ones with the cankles where the leg goes right to the ankle? There's no actual definition there?
No, well,
Right.
my aunt, my mother's side of the family and my father's side of the family, I mean, had major weight issues.
Right.
I had aunts that weighed, you know, they were pushing 300 and
Wow.
400 pounds.
Okay. Right. With a mustache.
Okay, don't talk about
Oh, that's family talk. My bad. My bad.
Hey.
My family talk.
You did a good read.
Yeah.
Drop
Yeah.
it.
But now
Say
one
Drop
something
it.
in your head.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm all confident and stuff. Yeah, I better just shut up.
I
I'll be
mean, let's not get into the family.
I'm
you know,
just kidding.
Let's not, you know, but it's true. But don't.
all right. I gotcha.
I actually had a mustache.
So did I.
But before I met Ed.
Okay.
But you know, so I really did have weight issues.
Yeah.
And you know, insecurity issues, but we don't have to delve into those really. You know.
Well, it's too late. You did.
Yeah, you already opened the box there.
Well, let me tell you, there's a woman that works for Pam. one of our, secretarial types, and she lost also 50 pounds.
Wow.
50 pounds is the magic number here.
That's a lot.
But what's different is the fact that all of a
See,
sudden
Ed's trying to shut me up. He doesn't want me to actually
I'm
tell anything.
I'm trying to embrace your wonderful performance.
That's what he's saying.
Here I
He
am.
doesn't want me to tell the deep, dark secrets. And once I
what
start,
happened?
I don't
No,
stop.
in relative to what you were saying, my precious darling.
Right.
How do you like that? All right.
He's good.
Yeah. Thank you.
good,
Al.
yes.
Anyway, what happened is it
He doesn't
changed
want me to
this
tell
whole
about
girl's.
the drugs, sex, and rock and roll.
Okay, I want to hear about that.
Right. Now we're talking.
You can skip the rock and
I'll
roll.
be finished in a minute. As an old broadcaster,
Right.
I'll be finished in a minute. The girl's life has changed. This
And
a
is
true
it from the
story.
Crave
I
Busters
met
as well?
Ed and he saved me.
No, I'm talking about Natasha, darling.
Oh.
Her whole life has
secretary,
changed.
right,
Guys are calling her on the phone. Girls who had nothing to do with her are now calling her up for lunch.
And Ed, is this from the Crave Busters?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
No, she went on it when Pam went on it.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is, what she was talking in reference to, you're out of the ball game. They won't pick you. You never throw
Right.
a basket
Right.
because you never pick. You never kick a volleyball because they won't pick you. This girl lost the 50 pounds the same way they went on it. But some other
Well, you
girls
know
went
what?
on.
Seriously. My whole entire life, I had such a weight issue that it consumed me. I was on every single diet known to man. I used to go on a binge and have a diet book in my hand,
Yeah.
and then Ed and I would be out, go out of town. And I would sit there and raid the mini bar and then feel guilty. So I would walk to Barnes and Noble and buy a diet book.
Another diet book,
And
yeah.
and I would say, okay, well, I'm going to go on a diet so I can eat.
Right.
I mean, this is really, and then, so I'd be cool. I'd eat for 3 days, but I would be going on a diet when I got home, and I would write it in my journal, and, and just continue to eat the whole time we were out of town. And I did similar things my whole entire life. I'd make cake batter. I mean, I went to everything you could think of. When Fin was out, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. It was the only time in my entire
That was killing people, though, wasn't it? I mean, didn't
well,
people
you know
die?
what? It didn't kill me.
Right. Okay.
And I was like,
You'll die trying.
it was the only time in my life I didn't think about food.
Oh, okay.
And it was the only time in my life I wasn't hungry.
Wow.
But, I didn't really want to have my heart pop out of my body.
Right.
So I would look good in a coffin, but I'd be
Yeah,
skinny.
good looking corpse, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was the only time in my life that I lost weight. But I only lost it once on Fin, and I didn't keep it off.
Right.
So why does this one work?
He's trying to keep me focused. Is that what he tries to do?
I don't know.
Well,
Okay, all right.
because,
I'm,
you know what,
okay,
I'm
okay.
sure you have other places to go.
I'm
I mean,
gonna
I
tell
love
you.
Crave Busters, but I can't give it a 2-hour commercial. I'll get fired.
All
right.
right. So anyway, what happened was I wasn't feeling good, and I ended up, taking medication for my cough and cold and all that.
Right.
And I wasn't hungry.
Okay.
So I thought, God, this really, even though I don't feel good, I'm not hungry.
Yeah.
And so I had this idea that if I could do find something like a lozenge or something, that made me, that I could take and that made me not hungry.
Right.
So I called a friend of mine who had a lab. And
Meth lab?
Yeah. Actually, a drug lab.
my
the back.
I'll give
I
it
didn't know.
a
Yeah,
for
right
that.
there. At the Motel 6, right?
Yeah,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
right.
The meth lab.
Right, whatever.
Anyway, I called and I said, I have an idea. If I could come up with something that I could take that helped me get past the craving.
Just curb your appetite.
I'm
in
an
other words.
emotional
Yeah.
eater.
Mhm.
And so we worked on it for 4 or 5, actually 4 years.
Really? Okay.
Yep. And what it is, it's a lozenge.
Mhm.
And whenever I get a craving, I put it in my mouth. The key is you keep it everywhere.
Okay.
And when I get a craving, I put it in my mouth, you suck on it, and that's it. The craving goes away.
Wow.
I'm in. If
Yeah.
you just want it and you suck on it, I'm
Oh,
in.
shush.
Okay.
Let me finish. Let me
Okay.
finish now. All right. So anyway, what happened with me is for the first time in my life, I'm actually in control.
Oh, good.
You know,
Right.
You put it in your mouth, you suck on it, and every time you do it, you're taking a positive action.
It's a solution for you.
So
it worked.
It's
right.
very empowering.
I see.
So
Good
that's
deal.
my story. I'm not taking drugs. I'm very relaxed and calm.
How do people get the Crave Busters? Is there a website? Or?
I know it's available at Rite Aid.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How'd you know that?
That's because I know these things.
Oh, my God.
I research.
You did your job today.
That's right.
For once.
And I really did lose almost 50 pounds.
Wow, that's great.
And it's the only time I
Awesome.
ever kept it off. So
Wow.
that's my story.
Okay,
All
so you're sticking
Excellent.
to it.
And I'm sticking to it.
You guys hang in there one second. We're going to talk about your book next, all right? Ed McMahon is here along with his wife, Pam McMahon. The book is
stuff.
called Here's Johnny, and we're going to get into some good stuff. And I want your opinions on the old school broadcasters and then some of the newer ones, who you
Right.
like, who you don't like, and then we'll get
I'll
into
give you that.
some great stories between you two. Also, you can share. Well, let's share that now. You were saying off of the air you had a great experience with Howard Stern. You said you remember these studios, and you said you two clicked.
Well, I mean,
let's
we
hit that now.
connected, You know, because I told him one time, I said, "You're a good broadcaster. You don't have to get into all the salacious material."
Okay.
And I feel that he didn't have to. He is a good broadcaster.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
He's very sharp, very knowledgeable, and he's right up to date. But he and I became friends, and he respected, I think, my military career.
Right.
That meant something to him. You know, the fact 2 wars, 85 combat missions.
How many kills, Ed?
No kills. I flew artillery spotting over the
Right.
front lines.
Okay. I still love you.
I always wanted to know, did you ever kill him? Did anybody
What's
ever?
that?
Did
No,
anybody
I
ever
must
take
have,
the
but
bucket?
only flew artillery shells.
Look,
in
he
North
was
Korea.
responsible for some kills, just
Yeah.
no direct kills.
Right.
No.
Okay.
I was not that kind of fly. I was an instructor in World War II. I taught carrier landings.
Okay.
That was my job, and I never went into combat in World War II.
Okay.
But in Korea War, I flew combat missions over the front lines in a small plane, a Cessna 182, and we directed artillery fire north. And, you know, nothing ever changed. That parallel was the same, 39th parallel for
Right.
umpty-ump months. I don't know how many months. But I did that. But anyway, he respected my military career. I'm a
Right.
colonel in the Marine Corps. You know, so he had a love for that and didn't penetrate with me. You know, he wanted me to reveal something gigantic about the spoke models.
Okay.
If it's a spokesmodel,
Gotcha.
I
I
want
would
to talk about sex.
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
I nailed him on the first time he mentioned it. He never mentioned it again.
All right, good.
And you said once he respected you, you guys did share a commonality. You
The
guys
fact
both
that
wanting
good
to be broadcasters,
Right.
I
right?
love good broadcasters. You know, and one of the questions I wanted to ask you, and I didn't necessarily want.
Will I give you an autograph? Hell yeah. Well,
Yeah,
give me a
paper
pen.
right
Give me a
there.
pen.
Right
Will you?
there.
No, I don't want the autograph. I already have so many others.
I bet you do.
They're worth money. Okay.
but I want to know how you got into broadcasting because I know you more from your performance times. How long have you been doing this, and how do you feel about it? What is it?
And like you said, Stern doesn't need to be nasty, but this is just the honest truth. I blew Stern to get into the business. And so I'm here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no big deal. I heard.
No big deal.
It was hey,
Right.
and he admits
Microscope
it.
and tweezers. Yeah.
So what was the
I don't know
story?
what that means.
I'll tell you later off there.
Yeah.
I'll draw you a picture.
What was the story that you each shared with each other, though?
The fact that we both started out. I started to tell you about the microphone. I held a flashlight like it was a microphone.
Okay.
Queued up records on my grandmother's Victrola. I was a broadcaster.
As a child,
As a
that was
child,
your
10
dream.
years old.
And same with him.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
When I told him that story, that struck a nerve with him. He
Yeah.
said, I did the same thing with a broom handle.
Right.
He said, I did the same thing. So that's what I meant when I was saying he's a good broadcaster.
Right.
And, you know, he has a feeling for a microphone, and there's the way you broadcast.
Right.
If you're a broadcaster, I'm talking to this microphone, but I'm talking to one person somewhere in Akron, Ohio, who now is listening to me. Now, you have to talk like that's where you're going.
Right.
And I see that hard break look. So if you got a hard break,
Yeah, we got
go
a hard
for
break.
it.
See, he knows broadcasting.
I know he does.
We
He's
do
the
have to break.
master.
When we come back, let's talk a little bit about the book. It's called Here's Johnny. I'm sure it's available everywhere.
Right.
Yes,
And we'll get
everywhere.
into the book.
Rite Aid.
on-
It's very little.
Next to the Crave Busters.
You go to Rite Aid,
Yeah.
you get two things
Two
in
for
your
one.
one stop.
Fine in Beverly Hills.
Oh,
All
there
right.
we go.
It's JV and Elvis on 92.3 Free FM. It is JV and Elvis on 92.3 Free FM.
Right.
Visiting with Ed McMahon and his lovely wife, Pam McMahon. Talked about her product. And now, Ed, we cannot get to all of yours, or all of at least all of the things that you're doing. You got vodka, and now as you're talking to Elvis, I overhear that you have a radio show as well.
I have a radio
You're a busy
show.
man.
Yeah.
I do.
Got a book
You
out?
know what I did? I took a closet off my office and made it my radio room.
Beautiful.
And Pam was nice enough to put a nice window in there.
Oh, thank
now,
you.
you guys got windows here.
Yeah.
When I grew up in the business, you never looked outside, never saw outside.
Right,
you were
right.
just inside. And when you did a 3-hour show or a 4-hour show,
Right.
you felt like you're under a clam
Yeah,
shell.
yeah, you were
somewhere,
buried.
You know.
You're right.
Awful. Anyway, there's no outside touching. Here, I'm looking over at a beautiful terrace over there.
Right.
Not bad.
New York City.
Any
Sure, not
action over
bad.
there?
Haven't seen any yet.
Ed, can I
Looking
ask you?
for it, though.
Do you mind me asking how old you are? Because you are very sharp. You're
I'm going to be 83 in 2 months.
This is listen. We talked about this earlier. My fear is that as I age, I'll lose it up here, or
Too late.
My quality of life will not be great. But I got to give it to you. I mean, you look great.
Yeah.
You have a great wife, and I'm sure you're just as happy as you've ever been, huh?
Oh, no
and you're
question
sharp,
about
Ed.
it.
You're really
I've
sharp.
had some pathways I went down that didn't lead to a bridge. But anyway,
Been there.
This is a wife who is third but permanent. This is the permie.
Okay, right.
Okay.
This is the last
The keeper.
one. This is the keeper.
All right.
But we've been together 14 years.
Right.
I mentioned earlier, been together 15, but married 14 on the 22nd of February.
Right.
But on March the 6th, I'll be 83.
Wow.
And,
It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
mean, really,
Amazing.
when you
He
think
is
about
so sharp, and to me, that would be the most important thing to
I
me. As
mean-
long as I have
Yeah.
it up here, and he does.
Yeah.
it, I mean, really, like Ed, it's unbelievable to me. He keeps going with his kid. I mean, the kids, everybody, we're like ready to pass out.
And he's still
Okay, I
rolling,
gotta
yeah.
take a
And you
nap.
still have the energy, Ed?
And the kids, even like we have a 16-year-old, all of them are like, you're ready to like go to sleep. And he's like, all right.
What's
And
next? Hey.
The other morning I wake up, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I go, what are you doing? He goes, I'm on the treadmill.
Wow.
And I'm like,
God.
oh my
Well, let's not go
God.
crazy, darling.
Right.
I'm just getting back to the treadmill.
I mean,
When I was awake, I
From
figured
6
I'll-
months before, right?
I'll get it out of the way. Right.
I'm tired of all the clothes all over it. Yeah, right.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, you're on the treadmill.
She says,
Yeah, I'm
get
on
back
the
in bed.
treadmill.
Ed, because we're going to run out of time here, let's
Yeah.
talk about your book. True or false? I read this, and you would know better, though.
Right.
I read about Johnny that he was happy when he was on that stage and delivering that line, and you two were interacting with the
Yeah.
guest. That's when he was most happy, but off of that, he didn't, what I read anyway, he didn't find a lot of happiness. Is
Well,
that
he
true?
said it on the best interview he ever did. They played a lot of that. They're keeping his spirit and his soul and everything about him alive because all of these news entertainment shows are bringing back something
Right.
on the weekend
Right.
and always embraces Carson for
Yes.
some reason.
Yep,
or other.
yep, I've seen
They're
that.
going to keep him, which is great because he deserves it. I
Oh,
mean,
man.
that was Magic time. That was Jackie Gleason time.
Right,
That was
yeah.
Marx Brother time.
Right.
That was Abbott and Costello time.
Right.
So the fact that they're keeping him alive with that, when I say alive, I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The fact that he's there every weekend if
Yeah.
you want to find him.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, he says it in the book. I'm great in front of 10 million, lousy in front of 10.
Right.
Now, I would we'd wind up at the same parties. We didn't know we were going to Jimmy Stodart's 80th birthday party,
Right.
but we wound up there.
Right.
So where did we wind up? We're at the bar.
Right.
Because he didn't flourish with a lot of people around.
I see.
And as he explained it on that interview they've been running, he said, look, I just talked to a whole bunch of people on my show.
Yeah.
Why do I have to go out and talk to a whole bunch of people after my show?
Makes sense to
Right.
me.
Yeah.
Right.
But would you say that he was unhappy? And then my follow-up question would be, what would you rather have? Because what you guys had was the greatest. Everyone, after that, you're going to have a good show, but let's be honest, it is all a duplicate in some form
Wanna be, yeah.
of what Johnny and yourself did.
I don't think, an honest answer to your questions, I don't believe it'll ever be duplicated.
Okay.
I think there was a special time. There wasn't too much competition. There were only 3 networks. We didn't have Fox. We didn't have UPN. so a
WB,
lot of
any of
stuff
that,
came
right.
in there, plus cable and whatever else
Yeah.
now exists with the satellite world.
Yeah.
Anyway, we didn't have any of that. But it was something else. There was something else about Johnny Carson. People felt a kinship to him.
Yeah.
His,
I know I did.
His Midwestern upbringing, that ethic of the Midwest, where you don't reveal too much of yourself. You hold stuff back. And I think that people hooked on to that.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of people in our businesses we well know are not sincere. They're phonies
Right.
or whatever they are.
Right.
Yeah.
But Johnny Carson, you think you got the real stuff.
Yeah.
When he said it, it seemed like it was the right thing to say.
Yeah.
And the way he handled all the political jabs, it was never with a sharp knife. It was
No.
with a powder puff.
Right.
You're right.
But the thing about him, I hate when they say recluse. When I hear that word, I'm ready for a Marine argument.
Yeah.
He wasn't a
private,
recluse.
right? He was more private.
He was private.
Yeah.
He would go to the movies by himself.
Right.
He would go to dinner, just he and his wife Alex and another couple. They'd be happy as could be.
What's wrong with that?
I would have lunch with him on his boat.
Yeah.
He wouldn't let me go. I mean, he wouldn't. We couldn't have finished the lunch.
Yeah.
Because if I had to go somewhere, I wouldn't have the lunch because I knew it'd be a 3-hour lunch.
He's going to raise anchor on you.
You know, there I'd be on the boat with him, and we'd be doing the Tonight Show without knowing it. You know. There we are.
Awesome.
It'd be great if it had a fly on the wall with a handheld.
Oh, yeah, right.
It'd be great, you know, to capture that.
Yeah, exactly.
But that was the whole idea. He was just a private man. He loved being in front of that camera. He loved every part of that. But when it was off, he was off.
Gotcha. How'd you guys meet?
What'd you say again?
How did you guys meet?
We met, I was sent up here for an audition. Dick Clark was my neighbor in Philadelphia.
Right.
Really?
And they did a big show, and I came up to audition for the announcer through Dick Clark's producer. They were in the same building, in a little theater on 44th Street. So I came up, and I didn't realize I got the job the minute I walked in. I didn't know that for 2 weeks later. The minute I walked in, he looked at me apparently and said, "That's the guy."
Beautiful.
So we didn't have any kind of an interview. We looked out the window. They were changing the marquee on 44th Street for Bells Are Ringing with Judy Holliday. Not just changing the lettering, they were changing the whole marquee.
Yeah, right.
There were 4 cranes on 44th Street right in front of our favorite dancing and liquid hole, Sardis.
And for
I've been in
people
there, yes.
just tuning in, it's the voice of Ed McMahon. Nothing turns me off more in this business than someone that comes in and they're just a jerk. Like, when you guys leave, I'll be like, wow, what great people,
Nice people,
and I
yeah.
wish them all of the best of everything.
Right.
Did you run into anyone that stands out as just a jerk in all of your time with you and Johnny? Someone where you're like, you know what, it's fine that you're great and people love you on the airways, but what a jerk. And on the flip side, anyone that was amazing, like this person went out of their way to make sure that, you know, they shook my hand. Or
Well, I mean, I admire people that do celebrity right. There are a lot of people that do not do it right. And I hear horror stories about, you know, he wouldn't shake my hand.
Yeah.
I tried to get an autograph. Like that burns me up. I'm trying to be so good as a celebrity. I don't mean to sound like a big altruistic type of guy.
Understood.
But I want to make up for all the celebrities that aren't doing it right.
Very nice.
Right.
And it bothers the hell out of me when I hear these power stories of how terrible this person was. You know, he's got power, so he's going to push us around.
Right.
I hate that. We are all, here we are.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm a broadcaster. I love what this gadget right in front of me. I love to be on a microphone. You
Right.
can tell that I swim in here. This is
That's
pretty
right.
good,
It's
right?
your thing.
Yeah.
Right.
I love it. You know, and I took a little
in fact, if you're not doing anything, I'm trying to get rid of you-know-who.
yeah, Elvis,
Who was that?
yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
Right. I
Well,
think he's a little busy.
Wait, the hope is
And
the
too
hope
good for
is
you.
that he'll get so big that he'll just kind of go off somewhere. you
Right.
know? Yeah.
And it's got a nice sound. Ed and JV.
I need the Crave Busters because I am getting big here in New York City.
Is there anyone that stands out, though, that you say, wow, when that person came in, that
Yeah,
was
I
kind
got
of a
off the
treat for
track
me?
on that.
No, you didn't.
Well, I mean, I don't want to mention any jerk people that I think of, but I
Yeah.
won't do that. But what I'd like to do is say that for anybody out there that's ever been rebuffed, let's say, by a celebrity, have hope. I hope I get to meet you and
There we
shake
go.
your hand or whatever, and it can be a pleasant experience for both of us. I don't know any jerks that I want to mention.
All right, and that's why I wanted to go to the other side.
Yeah.
I abandoned that as well because I know you're that kind of person. Is there that person, though, that stood out where you're like, man, this person was more than what the people saw? You ever run into a celebrity that you're like,
right.
okay, this...
Well, I mean, I met Cary Grant, right?
Wow.
I met Cary Grant quite by accident. I was sitting next to him at one of those Swifty Lazar parties when they first started out. They used to have the great Oscar party, and they had it at that time at the old Bistro, which was a restaurant out where we live. Anyway, a poor waitress came over. She was so nervous, she spilled an entire Diet Coke on his lap. Well, I'm sitting next to him. Well, that can't happen unless you react to it. You just can't have somebody spill a whole Coke on Cary Grant.
Right.
Because that's like spilling a whole Coke on a whole group of men. You know,
Right.
everybody wanted to be Cary Grant. How
Exactly.
could you be Cary
Right.
Grant?
Can't do that.
And so, you know, I had to react.
They
I
have
said,
Coke at Rite Aid, too.
what's that? What'd you say, darling?
Nothing.
She's just making sure we stop today by Rite Aid.
Yeah, go get Crave
Oh, Rite
Busters.
Aid, yes,
Yeah,
now I got it.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
Just teasing.
I know you're teasing. Anyway, I had to react to that. You have to. And I said, Carrie, I said, Gosh, I said, what? I said, look at her. And she was shaking the girl.
Oh, poor thing.
And so he said, my dear, with that voice, he said, not to worry, an old tuxedo, what more than anything.
Uh-huh.
So all of a sudden he said, he started to notice me. I'm right beside him, but he doesn't quite, get that connection.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, that was quite an interesting thing. I said, yes. I said, can you imagine if you were bringing a Coke to Cary Grant, how nervous you'd be? He said, I guess so. I guess it does do that. He said, do you like the races? I said, you mean the races at Hollywood Park? He said, yes. I said, I love the races. He said, would you like to go with me tomorrow?
Oh, wow.
And I said, where should I meet you? He said, I'll pick you up.
Wow.
He picked me up in this green, I think it was
Wow,
green. It was a Rolls Royce. I know it was a Rolls.
Yeah.
It could have been
Something British.
It could have been Chartreuse. I don't know what the color was. Took me to the races with him.
Wow.
He was one of the board of director guys.
At the Hollywood Park. Right.
We went, to Hollywood Park. Now, how could that happen to me? Cary Grant.
Yeah.
And Johnny wanted him on the show in the worst way. And I have it in the book. I mentioned it because I say he didn't want to come on. He said, I don't want to break the illusion. And the way he said it, he wanted to still be Cary Grant forever.
Wow. The book is called Here's Johnny. What did you prefer in your past, or out of your past? What did you like best? Did you like teaming up with Johnny, or did you like Star Search, having your own show?
I like Star Search, of course. A lot of people got a good shot out of that.
Oh, Rosie O'Donnell, Britney Spears, to name a few.
Tons of them.
Yeah, right.
Usher and Beyonce.
Right.
And they go to Rite Aid, though.
They do. They all stop at Rite Aid, right, looking for Crave Busters.
That's right.
Right.
They do.
They do. They do. Anyway, to
That's
answer
where they
that
get
question.
a book and they get the
Right.
vodka.
All their
the
everything.
vodka is called McMahon's Perfect Vodka.
Cool.
Russian vodka.
And
Now,
they
let
listen
me
to your
just
radio
answer the
show and
question.
it all comes
It
together.
all
Oh,
ties
my
together
God.
down at Rite Aid today.
Down at Rite Aid.
You know what? Even if it doesn't make sense now, just go to Rite Aid and it'll just click.
It'll just all come clear
It'll
to
just
you.
happen.
Yeah.
And you'll win the lottery and everything will be fabulous. Oh, my gosh.
Excellent.
To answer your question, all right? No question, Carson. I mean, that was the best time of my life. I spent 34 years with him, working on a week-to-week basis. He did take a few Mondays off, but I'd worked with him for 34 years, and we knew each other for the balance of his life, 46 years altogether. But what a joy it was for me to come in and work with that man. Now, as much as you say Elvis is not your guy, Elvis is your guy. He is your guy.
Yeah.
And when you can come into work and work with somebody that you really like and you admire how good they are, what they do.
Really.
What a joy. I had
right.
a wonderful life.
I'm waiting for it.
And that's
It'll come your
I'm
way.
hoping, man.
My blessing, I gave you a blessing on the cold read.
Thank you.
Now a blessing, it will come your way.
Thank you, sir.
And as a broadcaster, I was worried about that. We do have that edgy side to us, but I wanted Michelle, who helped line this up, to go tell you and your wife that we would respect you, because as a broadcaster, I do, and it would be phony of me to try to get nasty or rude with you, because I don't feel that way. I wanted to come in and have a great conversation, and I appreciate the conversation and the time. Let me ask you one other quick question before you go. My father is also a Marine, and I thank you and him and all of the guys active now for all of your service.
Well, let's send a Semper Fi to your father and send a Semper Fi to all the Marines, because I'll tell you what our story is. We're very braggadocious Marines, but we're just like dominoes. We deliver.
All right.
Okay?
In 30 minutes or less, I heard.
Right.
Yeah.
But if we're only on
30 seconds.
30 seconds or less. Just kidding.
For all the Marines out there and all the servicemen, everybody that's keeping this thing stabilized for the time, Godspeed and the Semper Fi to the Marines.
Wonderful.
Hoo-ha!
So we're gonna check out Here's Johnny. You gotta. I think one other thing. You walk out of Rite Aid, you take a big swig of the vodka. McMahon's,
right.
a perfect vodka.
Perfect.
And so you don't put on the extra pounds. You take the
Crave
Crave
Busters.
Busters.
Right.
Crave Busters.
Let me shake your hand, your Ed. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you, Pam, as well.